We want to talk to you guys about iblocky, right? There's been a lot of things that have been going around, and we want to give you our perspective, us three, and just kind of show you. I know you don't really trust us right now.
So the YouTuber Sundee has found himself in a little bit of controversy over the past few months, which is just insane. Not like, oh my god, Sundee's some evil, disgusting human being. It's insane that Sundee, of all content creators, the guy that's been uploading this consistently for the past few years, has found himself in any type of controversy. So what's actually going on in this situation? Why has Sundee felt the need to actually put out a response video where he put like scammer across his eyes, you know, parroting the commentary type thumbnail? Well, over the past several months, 3 videos on Sundee have dropped in relation to one of his Minecraft projects. Now, this project is his Minecraft server that he's done with a few other people called iblocky.
So, when he released a new Minecraft prison server called iblocky that not only contained some of the most egregious gambling and crates I've ever seen, but also some of the most expensive loot boxes I've ever seen, including a potentially $20,000 rank.
Across these 3 videos, he very much paints this idea that this server has an issue with the pricing of things, its gambling ideology, and stuff it feeds into.
$1 to $10 per key, most of which containing pay-to-win items. And not only are there crates, but there also exist 2 loot boxes, one of which costs $20 and the other a whopping $40 US. In that $40 loot box, there is also a special one-of-a-kind server rank you can't get any other way, of which you only have a 0.2% chance of getting. This means you would need to buy 500 of these loot boxes to reliably get one, effectively making this rank cost $20,000 in real money. The amount of gambling and incentives to engage in gambling behavior on this server is insane, especially with the extremely rare rank that can only be obtained from a $40 crate.
It's definitely a valid critique, right? That's a pretty expensive crate. It seems like a pretty expensive culture within this server, and that's a valid criticism to bring up to Sundee, and that's very much something that Sundee should address. I mean, literally straight after that clip in this video, this guy plays a clip of Sundee, you know, talking about this $40, right, and saying that, you know, this is a bit too much.
It's currently worth $40, which is absurd. I'm gonna tell him to lower that.
Although he does also say this.
Listen, this server is completely free. Don't ever spend money on this server if you cannot afford it.
You know, I think it's fair enough to ask Sundee some questions about this, right? Ask about the pricing, ask about what the moderators and the people and the collaborators who's working with Sundee on this server, you know, were thinking about the pricing and about other stuff that's going on. I think that's completely valid. But the way this guy went about critiquing the server, I honestly don't think it was probably the best way at all. But the content creator that covered this server and Sundee, right, went about it in a really peculiar way, right, by causing absolute chaos on this server, right, causing a few issues, right. They exposed this weird duping glitch within the server by, you know, exploiting it themselves.
We were about to cause with the 106,000 real dollars worth of items we duped led to billions of dollars of inflation.
That's duped money, I'm not gonna take that.
He said that's duped money.
Multiple false bans. Wait, do you see that? GR Costco, temper. This guy's definitely innocent. They literally just banned an innocent guy because he got my duped items. An admin with a questionable history quitting or being fired from the server, and some of the most lag I've ever seen, rendering the server almost entirely unplayable.
I think maybe it's a little bit of a strange strategy to go about when trying to raise critiques for this server, right? I think a way better way of doing this would be making a video, you know, going over some of your issues that you have with the server, right? Talking about it, showing what you mean, and then, you know, reaching out to Sundee for a comment, right? To see if you can work on the issue with him and, you know, try and make a positive change. Doing this might be entertaining, right? But come on, man, this doesn't get your message across in, like, you know, a great way. But I do have to say that, you know, while this probably isn't the best way to go about this situation and go about handling something like this, it did have an effect.
This well. So fine job, iblocky. Now, a few weeks after this dupe took place, I got in contact with a higher up staff who told me that they do have plans in the near future to remove all forms of gambling, including the ability to directly buy crates with real money.
But now, 4 minutes in, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Sundee's response.
And kind of have you guys hold us accountable, show us how to, you know, tell us what things you like, what things you don't like. We're listening, we're hearing what you're saying, we're listening, and we want to implement these things. So
I think this is a great way to start a response to a situation like this, right? You know, open the floor to people's critiques, what they want to see, what they're not really too happy with, right? And, you know, be open to suggestions and criticism from people. This is a really good start.
First things we want to bring up is the RNG crates that we had on our server. And you heard me right, we no longer have them anymore. We're getting rid of all the, you know, we're getting rid of the paid RNG. So questions that you guys were asking, why the crates, why the sellable RNG, why did we go that route? Dawn or Charm, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so in full transparency, guys, when we first launched this network, I think it was a scenario of we just didn't put as much thought as we maybe should have into having the crates. It's pretty much been an industry norm within Minecraft servers, Roblox games, pretty much all types of gaming that they had some form of RNG crates.
Okay, immediately taking accountability, saying that you've already fixed this by removing them, and then giving, you know, pretty detailed explanation as to why they were there in the first place, right? Addressing all three things that people might genuinely want to know. This is always the best response when it comes to a response, right? Is be honest, be vocal, and be very clear with your intentions, with what you've done to rectify your mistakes. I think this is a great response so far. They were very much rightfully critiqued for something, they rectified the mistake, then came onto Sundee's channel to talk about said mistake in an open and honest way. Something that's very respectable.
In this video, throughout it, hopefully, we have completely removed all forms of paid RNG. And we will continue to do so, have full transparency when it comes to the store items we sell. You know what you're buying, you know what you're getting.
And that's the goal. And obviously there'll still be RNG in the game, like Minecraft enchanting. You can't, that's just how RNG works. Mob drops. If you go kill a mob, sometimes you get a skull, sometimes you don't. That's just how that works. But we're trying our best to, if you spend money on the store, you know exactly what you're gonna get.
Again, a great clarification here and a great way of implementing some things that people were being very critical of. I like it. Of course, this whole situation is the biggest thing that's ever hit the internet or the Minecraft scene, far from it, right? But I do like how they've gone about it, how they've gone about the response, how they've gone about the bits of criticism they have received, and, you know, move forward with their server to try and better it and improve it.
And if you're playing on a free server, there's no way that we can pay these people to make these games. We can't pay for the servers. And that's where the paid side comes from it. Everybody has access to it, but we hope that the people that can afford the server to pay for it, to buy things, to get a buff, to help them out on the server, to play, to play the way they want to, we hope that they're willing to spend the money on the server so that we can continue to build the server.
This is completely logical, right? If you've got a free server, of course, there's going to be some paid elements there to, keep it running, to keep people getting paid. This is a completely logical statement. But I do think, it was kind of overpriced. I say kind of very overpriced. Well, I get what he's saying in terms of, trying to keep the server running and allowing people to get, their money's worth. But I do think, it's kind of overpriced, and that's something that he says here and in other videos.
We made some money and now we're running away. That's not what we're doing, They've been working behind the scenes to make this better. This current video that's you guys are watching, if you go over to the Blocky store, there's no more RNG on it. The prison server, the prison 1.0 server is getting completely revamped. It's going to be prison 2.0. We're doing a lot of things. We're trying to build something really cool here, and we want you guys to be involved. And we like the constructive criticism.
I do like the transparency from Sundee in this response. I like the fact that he made a response in the first place and that he's been very open to said criticism, right? About the pricing of things, right? And then explaining the reasonings why the price was so high in the first place and what they've been doing to rectify the mistake or adjusting things. I think it's a very open and honest response.
It goes about how you guys do the constructive criticism too. Like if you're attacking us, attacking the server, doing iffy things, it doesn't go over well on all fronts. We gotta be constructive, right?
This is what I was saying about this guy's original videos, right, on Sundee and this iblocky server, right, is if the criticism was completely constructive, right, he'd put it out there, he had demonstrated a few of the issues that was wrong with the server and then reached out to Sundee, right. I think that would have been a way better approach. Of course, he's still got some results from doing those 3 videos and how he went about those 3 videos, but there are of course better ways to, conduct yourself when it comes to something like this, especially seeing as Sundee seems very open. But always going to be more willing to listen to you if you conduct yourself in a better manner, regardless of the manner this guy conducted himself in was, entertaining or whatever.
So yeah, go over to the iblocky if you have any issues. We're really trying to ramp up our customer service and make sure everybody's taken care of. That's our goal, man. I don't know if you guys can see it. I know a lot of you guys look at me as, oh, this dude's a money-hungry piece of crap. I understand that. That's not me. I know my words don't mean anything, so we're gonna prove it. Right.
I'm trying to look in this response to see if, Sundee's missed anything, if there was anything else he could have added, right? More criticism to give Sundee, right, so that he can work on some things, but I genuinely can't find anything here. I think how he's conducted himself, how he's conducted the situation is completely valid, and how he recognises the views of people, right, and how people's views aren't going to necessarily change based on his words, but his actions, it's respectable and commendable.
They can put a roof over their head. We have to pay people to develop these different things. We have to pay artists. So we have to make money. but at the same time, we don't have to charge so much money for our items. We can find that happy medium ground to where we're not giving away our stuff for free to literally everyone. You know, the game plays for free, but if you want to buy some of the, you know, the premium stuff or get stuff faster, we have to figure out ways that we can make this business work. I hope you guys can see that. I hope you guys can see where I'm coming from. Hopefully that makes sense.
Again, another very reasonable point, something that I've said throughout this video in a very reasonable response. And like they've said in this response, and something that is very reflective, it very much feels like they've been working on these issues for months, right? Trying to prove to people that, you know, we're not money hungry and, you know, we're going to make mistakes and we're listening to your criticism and trying to improve. I like what I'm seeing. And the same creator, Misterepic, that originally, you know, made the videos on this server, thinks so too, and left a massive comment on Sundee's video, you know, going through point by point, agreeing with him, and, you know, thanking him and the mods and people working on the server for, you know, making these changes and, you know, responding well to criticism. And Misterepic is also making a follow-up video, right, talking about Sundee's response, right, and, you know, it very much seems like commending the guy. So, I mean, this situation could genuinely have not wrapped up in a better way. It's so rare for a situation like this to end in such a positive way, right? With the critique content creator actually listening to the criticism and, you know, making a good change, and the guy that ended up making the video, right, calling out this, you know, also reacts in a very positive manner. This is just a great situation to see. For everybody watching, what's your thoughts on this whole situation, Sundee's response? Please feel free to comment down below. And once you're done there, you might as well subscribe and hit that notification bell. But I have been your host Samuel, and I will catch you in the next YouTube video.